wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place the calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that we feel happen like dark and blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place the calling of the day. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time? Calling is the show. It no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place the calling of the day. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that we feel happen on dark and blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place the calling of the day.
This is WUB Wake Up Billies Morning Vibes on a Thursday morning, the last day of 2024. We welcome you to the program this morning. I'm Nuri Mohammed. We have certain Stay go through. All right, welcome again. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize, Morning Vibes on a Thursday, the last day of October 2024. I'm Nuri Mohammed and we welcome you to the program this morning. As you know, we go through certain steps. We begin with an update on the weather, which we'll get from Francisco Wellington this morning. And then we'll give you the latest update from our news center. And a little bit after 7 o'clock, we open the phone lines and begin our conversation for this Thursday morning. Please, Francisco Wellington.
Good morning. Moist and unstable conditions linger over the area and will support mostly cloudy skies with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms around the country today and then mainly along the coast tonight. In the outlook for Friday and Friday night, showers and thunderstorms will continue affecting mainly coastal areas. Winds today along the coast and over the open seas will blow from the northeast at 5 to 15 knots and seas will be light chop. High tides will occur at 9:31 this morning and 8:58 tonight. Low tides follow at 3:14 this afternoon and 4:06 tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon will peak at 77 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 84 along the coast, and 87 inland. The moon will set at 4:49 this evening, followed by sunset at 5:21. In the sargassum forecast, sargassum impacts are expected to remain minimal for the next few days. In the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected in the North Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of Mexico during the next 48 hours. However, a broad area of low pressure is likely to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea and has a medium chance of development during the next 7 days. That's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Do have a pleasant day.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Due to the continued discrimination of students in some schools over there here, Yaya Marine Coleman, the chairperson of the UBAD Educational Foundation, UBF, today or yesterday started one of her solo protests to get the government to institute a hair policy. As these cases have repeated themselves at the start of every school year, authorities indicated every time to Maureen Coleman, upon following up, that they address each issue individually. Maureen Coleman emphasized the importance of having a national policy, and she calls for penalties for violating schools.
Just one quick scan of the news, and because our interest, the African descendants, racialized as black people, and when we do this, because we know we can succeed, just a matter of when, other Belizeans won't benefit. But our focus is on African children racialized as black people, students. Where we've just go on quick online search, you have hair discrimination with Belizean students in all 6 districts. I think 4 towns and 3 villages. I think from like 20, over maybe a 9-year span. I know people advise you, and I'm going to the school, the last school, which I'm ACC this academic year, so I'm going to the school. But then one of my wise brother, and I call in and say, yeah, go to the Ministry of Education. And I don't go in a Belmopan. Yeah, so. I went there, and I love that I in this area because the area represented not only a black man, that a deputy prime minister, and come from a conscious black family. So I on good grounds. And we just say that the Ministry of Education need to create one national hair policy. The Ministry of Education in a violation of the Constitution, I believe. Under both administration, the Ministers of Education, the Chief Education Officer, the Chief Executive Officer come out and give lip service every time we hear discrimination story make the news. And the discrimination continues, so they can't say they don't know. They're aware of this systemic violation. They are just talking. The state have a responsibility for creating one policy with steep violations, especially for repeated offenders. You have recommendation: first offense 50,000, second 100,000, third 150,000.
Maureen Coleman says that she sent photos of her protest to the Minister of Education and also informed that she's internationalizing the campaign. We asked who should have a seat at the table for drafting such a policy.
We have had solidarity partners in the region, different Caribbean countries, globally in Europe, North America, so we internationalize this injustice as well. I think that Angola, Trinidad, and Puerto Rico, and maybe a country or two on the continent have changed their policies, because these policies are from the European colonizers, and now we have the neo-colonizers. So it won't happen. It'll catch on slowly because it's a violation of human rights. The whole education system, for the most part, that believes in a violation of human rights because they want a church-state system. And people have one right to choose if they want to be a part of any organized religion at all. So school should really be a secular space. Puerto Rico are the latest one, and then go one extra step that they never just look for amending the education policy, they extend it to employment. So there is not here discrimination in the private sector, as it relates to employment and in the government sector. And secondly, yes, prior to that policy, I would need to be a part of that process. And you can't bring nobody to the process. We don't have no credibility, meaning they don't have no receipt of advocating on behalf of the communities where they set and represent with evidence that they do. Now, if there's any other group of people, wherever advocate come out as it relates to hair discrimination, you could sit down at that table. Any of the families will never report their story. Any of the families will report their story, children, and they're still traumatized years later. Then could be part of that meaningful people participation prior to that policy being drafted.
During his two-day visit to Belize, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China, Taiwan, His Excellency Lin Chao Lung, traveled to San Pedro and Burgess Key, where he toured the location of the future San Pedro and Kikaka General Hospital north of San Pedro town. The hospital is being built through a partnership with the Taiwanese Ministry of Health and Wellness, partnership with Taiwan. Minister of Health.
A team of doctors, nurses, and medical professionals who will work tirelessly to ensure each patient receives the best care possible. Currently, the polyclinic that we have in the island functions as a 24-hour polyclinic, providing emergency, urgent, and routine health services. So this new facility will complement existing services and expand to include specialty care, significantly reducing the cost and saving lives. New services, of course, will include internal medicine, surgery, pediatric care, and obstetric care, encompassing prenatal, intrapartum, and postnatal care, as well as preventative and curative services for children and adults. Surgeries including emergency procedures for conditions like appendicitis and ectopic pregnancies, as well as elective surgeries like gallstone removal, will also be performed at this very new facility. Internal medical specialists will manage conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and more without patients needing to. So therefore, this will not require our people to have to leave the island.
Honorable Andre Perez, the area representative for Belize Rural South, which includes both Hamburgers Key and Kikop, said that the structure is to be strong enough to withstand hurricane force winds. He added that the construction is on schedule.
This hospital will be serving as much as 30,000 people here in Kikocker and San Pedro, and as well as tourism that it swells at times for the busy season. I can tell you that this building, I am being kept abreast on a weekly basis, that this building is being built correctly, in tune with climate change, building a building that is so resilient that will be able to withstand hurricanes. So, to update you, this building that we're building here is going to take approximately about 3 years or so, and I'm keeping in touch right now that you will see the inspection right now that we are well on the foundations being built. But the people here are very grateful because as we grow, this infrastructure of this community that is growing so fast, the most important component here is a hospital. And your government and our government have done the right thing by choosing something that is critically important for this community.
Nadia Cattouse, who was Belizean-born British actress, singer, and songwriter, who sadly passed away on Tuesday in London, 5 days before her 100th birthday. Cattouse was born in Belize City in 1924, and in 1943, during the Second World War, she went to Britain as a volunteer and was trained as a signals operator and became a part-time physical training instructor. Musically, some of her hit singles included Long Time Boy, Brown Gal in a Ring, Yellow Bird, and Red and Green Christmas. Yesterday, Crim News and XTV spoke with her son, Michael Linup, a successful musician in his own right, who went down memory lane and spoke of what growing up with his mom was like.
I grew up with her being a very larger-than-life character, let's say. From when I was young, she would be singing around the house. We had a Polly parrot brought by a friend of hers from Belize in the early 60s, when people were still able to do those kind of things. And that became our family pet. And Mum used to teach it, or tried to teach it, to sing Climb Every Mountain from The Sound of Music. And of course, Polly, as we called her, didn't quite get it right, but it was, would interact with the family. And, the sitting room was kind of like the playroom for me, and also the music room for Mum. So there was piano there were guitars, there were hand drums, there was a reel-to-reel tape recorder at some point, and of course the radiogram, the record player. So while I was young, my dad was still living with the family. He's a composer, arranger, so kind of music organically just existed. People would be coming in to drop by the house, either musicians who would be rehearsing with Mum for her concerts, or friends of hers, or sometimes there'd be cousins and uncles passing through. Her uncle Carlton, who actually came to the UK to work with the forestry a year before Mum came in 1943. He kind of had a great affection for Scotland, which Mum also kind of inherited because she followed in his footsteps in a way. He'd come to the house. There'd be other people come to the house. Belizean politicians would drop by. There'd be 10th of September parties when I was young. Lots of music playing. All of those old 10th of September records.
Linup said that his mom was supportive of his musical career and assisted however she could. She also kept him grounded.
And then I'd often be taken with Mum to her concerts, and then when she was acting, sometimes to her play performances. I guess probably she couldn't always get a babysitter, so I'd be sat in the studio or backstage in the green room watching and so on. And so that I kind of grew up with mum doing this. And in a way, I knew it wasn't, not every parent did that, but it was sort of normal in a way. And I got into music myself quite young, just mucking about on the piano. And both myself and my sister had sort of lessons on the piano and the cello. Um, and so, and we'd have family sing songs on the holidays. You know, we'd be driving up to Scotland in our little car, you know, doing 3-part harmonies and stuff. And it just kind of seemed natural. At the age of 14, I went to a specialist music school in Manchester called Cheetham School of Music, which took pupils, and you did your academic subjects sort of in the normal school day, and then everything around that was music lessons. And she'd found out of that through a journalist friend of hers called David Smithers, whose son was going to the school. And mum made sure that she followed up, and I went to do an audition. And then because it was a fee-paying school and mum couldn't afford the fees, she approached my then, you know, her ex-husband, my father, who then kind of paid for me to go to the school to do that course. And while I was there, I took up the percussion, and I then auditioned for a music college, Guildhall School of Music in London, as a percussionist. I was living at home then. And whilst I was there, I met some musicians who ended up being the kind of founder members along with me of Level 42. And so mum was kind of, would give words of encouragement, but also caution, because she was, you know, she wanted to protect me, I guess.
Linda remarked that the family was very humbled by the support received from Belizeans, and said that his mom never lost touch with what was going on in Belize and still read the Amandala newspaper even in the UK. He said that she also introduced him to Belizean music and culture, recalling the time that he saw Andy Palacio perform in the UK.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you know, me and my sister have received so many messages of, I mean, it's incredible how well she was regarded and respected to this day. And obviously there's much younger generations, you know, such as yourself, who maybe didn't meet her personally, but knew of her. And, you know, it means a lot to us. And, you know, it's a great legacy that mum has left, I believe. And she was always interested in new music. I mean, you know, at the time, she would take me and my sister sometimes to see, you know, to meet Belizeans who came into town. I remember when, you know, she was very excited when Andy Palacio came, I think, for one of his first concerts in London. And mum took me along to see him, and, you know, was explaining to me more about Garifuna, you know, the culture, and they bring their own music and they bring their own instruments, and, you know, the turtle shells and all the different percussion they played. And I think, you know, I didn't realize how important a figure he was until later on, when, you know, he kind of passed away before his time, really. But his music lived on. I remember one visit to Belize, I was playing his album on a little speaker on the beach, and somebody walked past and said, you know, kind of respect and so on. And, you know, mum always was interested in what was going on. And she seemed to know, you know, we used to get the papers sent through to England by cousins, you know, Compton Fairweather regularly used to organize that. And, you know, the Amandla would drop in the letterbox. I wouldn't think anything of it. And mum and her mum would be discussing, you know, the goings on. And she really kept her ear to the ground.
Police in Independence are investigating a murder. Authorities responded to a report of the body of a man being found at the Red Bank dump at around 3 p.m. on Tuesday. When they got on the scene, they observed the body had cut wounds. The deceased has been identified as 35-year-old Wilmar Che. A postmortem awaits. And that's our news package for this morning, the 31st day of October 2024. There's more news coming up with an update at 12 o'clock, one at 3 o'clock, and a full news broadcast at 5:15 on Creme Radio. Here on XTV, we bring you the entire news at 6 o'clock this evening. We're now at 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. We'll take a small break, come back, and open the phone and begin the conversation for this Thursday. Stay tuned.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
This holiday season, Santa's elves are making a special delivery to Atlantic Bank, making sure all customers have something extra spectacular to celebrate this Christmas. Apply for a personal loan today and get a chance to win one of 25 prizes. For more information, visit our website at www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, making your holiday season magical.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
All right, welcome. This is WUB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. We begin our conversation now. Our telephone numbers here, 2805848, and we welcome you to call in and let us have a conversation. There's a lot to discuss. I mentioned to you that a few months ago I had a terrible asthma attack and in fact had to enter the emergency ward at the Belmopan Hospital and spent a couple of days there, as a matter of fact, before I was able to get myself back under control. I want to mention something very positive, so let me take the call first. Welcome, caller.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
First of all, I want to wish you good health and happiness. I hear about your medical condition.
Yeah, well, I'm good, brother. That was some time ago, but I wanted to give a follow-up on it. But welcome, man. I hear you good well.
That's true, that's true. I wake up this morning and I wonder if I wake up or I still a dream.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't a nightmare.
Not a nightmare. I'm worse than a nightmare.
I see. Well, I hope you didn't kick whoever you were sleeping with, because sometimes in nightmare could cause you.
Something that the nightmare, I mean, only for me, it never may be a problem. But the nightmare for every single local tour operator in our country.
I see.
We get a letter yesterday, I think, being circulated on social media from Niche. You know about Niche?
I know about Niche. I know about Mitch last.
And the minister Niche, Mr. Fonseca.
Yes.
He may try to be prime minister 1 or 2 times, lose. He seems to have a very poor record when it comes to communication. And he seems to be very lined up with people that are anti-local tour operators. I don't know if Mr. Mara and Minister Fonseca get together and have a meeting about how we eliminate local tour operators, because I have the assumption that that's what they out for do. I saw a letterhead from which they tell me, if, you know, for the past couple of weeks the cave flood and the Nahokcha End archaeological site closed.
Yeah.
For safety reasons.
Right.
Mother Nature reasons. I can't vex with that. But on the other hand, you have Choka, whether a Jamaican-based company, and Dark Knight, where I seem to, like, either the country not care or we're stupid or something wrong with it. Because I'm not entrepreneur. What entrepreneur means, I work for myself. I'm not going to boss. When Friday come, I'm not collect no paycheck. I will eat by my hustling ability. A lot of people tend to use the word hustle and they refer to it, you know, a negative way, like one drug dealer or a minister that do bad deal. Then we associate with hustling. But I hustle on the internet. I hustle through other tour operators to get people for the tours so I could show them my country. That's how I really make a living. That's the rice and beans of my life. When you see for media and when you see the president and all of that, that's just a reciprocal of my work, what I do. And when I see Niche, the Institute of Culture and History, put out an official letterhead, they tell me whenever the cave closed, I could go to Choka and I could pay them $15 per person plus $128. So I could use a government cave system.
That I will tell you is that
that's our official thing with out on Facebook, web for a niche letterhead.
To access the cave, you have to go
to access the crystal cave. When a cave, where when one cave system closed, our cave system closed. I'll tell you something. You see, I'll tell you something.
Did they say, Brother David? Did they say for safety reasons or anything like that, or they just to tell you to go
when
to
the cave system closed, we can't go through the cave. Right. The regular cave system, the Jaguar Park cave system, the Nahokcha End cave system, we can't use it.
Right.
It's unsafe. But they got an area to the back where when the other administration was in. When one cave closed, all caves closed for safety reasons.
Right.
But because of the chase money, and this is a crooked crew settled there in here. This is settled there in here. They're like Barabbas, they're like Judas. Then they sell out the Belizean Minister Fonseca and Minister Mala. They do a horrible job.
Now make us see if I can understand what you say. You as a private tour guide.
Tour operator.
You are being told as a tour operator, I should say. Because that's up from just a
when
guide.
the cave system closed,
That you now, for access the cave, must
access
go...
different part of the cave, we name Crystal Cave.
Yeah, must go through your competitor in order for you to access.
I must pay Chuka $128.
All right, so what justification? I just to try, I know you're going on thing for say, but I just to try for the sake of the audience.
I don't think nobody could. So far, what I noticed, and this is the gripe on my car. Dark night cave system, no cave, the river high, if the river got nobody there for check there. No safety there. This weekend when the cave may close, one of the local operator gone right there. Again, themselves in a trouble because they don't know the cave system. And they don't give them no help. And they don't got no niche person, and they pay no tax. And the price they could pay 18 US per person. Now imagine 18 US per person for the use dark night cave system. But they're right next to Upchester, we're closed. And dark night cave system open, you pay $18 US per person, and they give you your gas, and you use that system and up in the government not collect $1 in a taxes and they no a niche person there for safe.
I didn't hear you, bro. Oh, he's gone. He look like might have run out of credit. Call back, David, so we could get the end of the story. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I think we got cut off just now.
Yeah, for some reason. Go ahead now.
I expect that. And I tell you, either the Belizean tour operators, the locally owned one, either was stupid, was simple, was blind, or we will get beaten into submission for accept the craziness there. That's a craziness. And that's a recipe for any entrepreneur for go broke. How they tell me, carry my money at Choka, carry my money at Bradley Palmen, carry my money at two white entities. The problem, Brother Nuri. The problem now, serious.
Then your competition, right?
And I got a letter from Mitch to tell me to that. Go the Choka for pay for government. As far as I know, nobody could own a cave. That's a national asset. That's for the whole country.
Right.
So you are telling me for go pay them $125 plus $18 for make kind of finish sink my Belizean company in the ground. I will give my enemies ammunition for shut me up and kill me. And that is written power. I could say why Francis Fonseca never become Prime Minister, no?
You want publish that letter in your Facebook?
That letter has been published, that letter there on Facebook. I never published that. Anybody can look for it. PJ will say that. I don't mean to make this up. This is also the thing why I invent. This is our serious problem. There are problem we could send my company underground. No, imagine this. They may for raise the entrance fee November right here, double up and triple up in a some spot. You say San Antonich? Have you heard about San Antonich?
Yeah, well, yes, of course.
All right, so today you can't go do a San Antonich tour.
Why?
Because the ferry.
All right, that's what I heard.
And I've been telling the idiots, or calling idiots, simple, untalented people at Nitch, build a bridge. For years. Build a bridge. Build a bridge. You know they said the Ellington that he told me, oh my God, David, you're a genius. I don't know no genius, Mr. Ellington. That's the way we for a long time. Build a bridge. Build a bridge. Boss, build a bridge and all light bulbs. But because they're so corrupt and thief, they know they do the right thing. All you want to tell me, go to Choka, Go to Bradley Department when my national care system closed. One thing, when we meet with the last administration, I will tell them when that care system closed, people have died in that care system already, you know. Them have a local operator when we got them contract with Carnival. On a day like this, when they had no regulation, somebody dead in there. And then they create all kind of regulation. I said, Bradley Department over there, you know, got no regulation. Until somebody dead in there, they don't know fix it. They don't know say, hey, David Almendaris, now I'm in the top fool. This is my business, brother. I ban and go up 3 o'clock every month to figure out how to keep my doors open. Because now my own government, my own person with the day for protect me, sell me out. They sell out every local Belizean operator and they either they're too coward or they're part of the corrupt system and they tell you once you're not Belizean to operator and you do work and you hustle and make your money legally, you should be up in an alarm over this. This is a direct shot or a shot of venom in your company, or a shot of venom in my company. How our cell-care tubing come January when they double or triple up some of the fees for we, when by the department will tell me the same tour close to my place for $18 US. The same entrance fee then they double up. I could go pay about the department and get paid everything. I could care 20 people if I want per person.
All right.
That's a serious problem, but Nuri.
I think we hear.
That's what the media need to do their job. Because either we're simple or something wrong with we.
We got the letter on screen now, so people who can go through it will see it.
So say another lie.
Yeah.
When they go in niche, so they drop on their head. I mean, the when they go in PUP, when they go in there, they want to kill everything Belize now, or then the hospital, but every minute to Dubai, every minute to the with hustling and the every minute to the bill hospital enough for bill. Everything like our country are red alert and like the people not sit down and who will wait for? Who will wait for to put their ballot to touch that's what a simpleton. Or allow me 5 minutes because I just then set a simpleton opposition into. Because not name Saldiva, not name I don't know fan of Shine Barrow. But I have two very serious things I observed that I need to bring to the nation attention. Where no media no do no job. Not new, but this new coalition here, we farm. Every one of them, no good. That's why we vote out. This is no Shine Barrow promotion, because he's another set of simpleton. But not new, but this. And I have some serious concerns about the health of Mr. Young. You know the question that every time I see that lady, they sit down. Yeah. Every time I see her, then support. I mean, I have nothing to discriminate against her.
Don't go in that direction, my brother. Don't go in that direction.
No, it's a serious thing. If I lead my country, I need to know how to physically healthy to do it. But not a shot. That I'm not about. We need to be open that we're wrong with the media. We will not ask the right question. Every time I see her, it's a David Almendaris to say that I don't know how fun she, because she will get funds for everybody. So if I get funds from everybody, I will know to be the truth. The truth are the truth. And that I don't know, I hate politics. I want to waste time every day to show we are headquarters for to set up people who we even want. Waste time for them there. And I want to know what's going to she health. Physical health, because every time I see her, it's sit down.
David, listen, David.
If you're going to lead my country, I need to know that.
Yes, man, but wait until that time comes. This is another time.
No, the time don't come.
No, this is another time.
What happened to the media? What happened to all the boss? We have Pacha. We have to set us down, say goodbye.
Our number here is 280-5848. Let's go ahead and take our break for a 2 cent scam, which is brought to you by 4 Point Security.
You're watching WUB and this is XTV, all right? And two same question of the day. You know, all hear about Gungulung in a St. Martin's era, aka Lekai era. You know, hear about Gungulung, and you hear the struggle where some people go through in a Gungulung. Make we find out the people in 2 cents, some of the challenges they face in a Gungulung. What do you want to do?
This one,
But,
big floor.
Oh, the street.
oh, that one street?
Yeah.
That down street?
Yeah, big floor.
Okay, and that go?
Yeah. This one up next. 2 and there.
2 street?
Yeah, 2 and 3.
But how do you want to do that? How do you want to do that if it black? It look like somebody's property?
No.
How do you want to do that?
No, this one for Ministra. The Ministra.
Okay. 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 All right. All right. Me never know it's on street. Let's say this and that one. All right. Thanks. 2 cents. What are some of the challenges you face in a Gongolong, or some of the changes you don't want to change? Anyone in question there? Challenges you face, or some of the changes we don't want to see?
Well, there's a lot of changes here in Gongolong since I come and live around here. And the only thing left now for me to do my change for myself. But I get my land full up and different stuff.
Yes, sir.
That's the way I work.
I like that. I like that. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. That's a good one. All right, yeah. You're there long. All right, I know the person who is responsible for making them put the road, right? Because I mean, you don't want, no, when they could do more for you then, like maybe you want your own pipe, because everybody run off of the line there. Because I don't know about that side there.
Well, nice.
Over that side there.
On the south side of
Gungulung.
Barbara Harris.
Oh, the Harris. Thank you for the correct.
The road, this from the bridge to the Mal Boulevard Junction is known as Barbara Harris. From LaCroix to the bridge is Kathleen Fraser.
Fraser. All right.
We no longer use the word Gungulung.
Yeah, that was my action. Are these people resident
on that side? It seems that with all the homes there, no one knows yet where the roads will go. So that is going to take a little while to solve.
Solve, yeah, I understand.
I'm not saying it's not going to be solved, but it's going to take a little while to solve. Because
history.
As you know, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister Lance, his job is a lot of work for one man. On this side now, on that side.
You're not the governor over here?
No, I'm not the governor here, but you don't want to minute first.
Well, yeah, kind of close to the road.
You know, so we need, I would say, we already have water system.
Yes.
Electricity. But, people are never satisfied.
All right.
And there's so much the representative can do
at this time.
For us at this time.
All right, that's not fair enough.
A lot of other places that needs work.
Yeah, fair thinking, fair thinking.
5, Belama 4.
Yeah.
So as a resident here, I am quite satisfied with what I have right now.
All right. It was worse.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to walk in the mud. You had to run your rubber hose from the mediums
yes.
Your drums.
All right.
Now we have portable water.
Respect.
Electricity. Most of us have gotten our land title.
Yes.
Thanks to the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, I as resident here, I'm totally satisfied.
You bless. You bless.
I'm blessed. Let's put it that way.
That's your 2 cents.
My 2 cents now is most people, I'll be honest with you, you cannot satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
Most people want everything overnight.
Yeah.
We have roads, we have infrastructure now. Infrastructure that goes all the way to the river. All the way around and comes out to the hub. Yes, the road needs a little, dumping, but that's minor stuff.
All right. I've come back and talk to you because you got history.
Oh, I feel good when this street, we
Yeah.
got street,
we got water,
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
thanks to Cordell too. Cordell High, he helped me with the back a lot.
All right. Big up yourself, right? It's
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
This holiday season, Santa's elves are making a special delivery to Atlantic Bank, making sure all customers have something extra spectacular to celebrate this Christmas. Apply for a personal loan today and get a chance to win one of 25 prizes. For more information, visit our website at www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, making your holiday season magical.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapado en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día, para 10 días, y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
right, welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on a Thursday morning. I've got a comment on that last call that we got, and of course all of you know that that is our brother that normally calls in, and in fact there was a time that he was one of the co-hosts here on Wake Up Belize. He has a certain passion, and I appreciate that passion. I think we love that passion, in fact. But we are an entity that we have to be very careful when you start throwing out names. If a person feels as though what you're saying is wrong or is disparaging their character, they do have a right to seek redress in the courts. And they can pull us in as a company for allowing it to come across without none of us here saying, take it easy on that. That may be the only redress that we have in front of the court, to say, we tried to tell the caller to cool off on that area. If we don't, then whatever that person who sues can also bring us in, and so the company, meaning the media house of Creme and XTV, is also culpable to whatever I said. Now, nobody is taken back from what you say. You have freedom to say that. But when you get on the air, especially when you get on the air here, we don't know wave. You could say what you want and get political as you want on the wave and on the vibe. But when you come here, you got to hold on and be careful how you put, where you put. And then when you start getting into people's personal health issue, that's not cool, man. Any of us can get into a health situation, and this is not the forum for doing that. If you're going to do that, then you have to do that with much more discretion. And secondly, for throw we under the bus like that you made do in the last statement, that like we are at fault likewise, like somehow we no got bars. Clearly you don't know the history of this entity here. In terms of in terms of bringing forth what we believe, that has been the consistent DNA of this media house. So don't accuse we of somehow being timid and afraid and silent. You got the wrong house. You better call some other media and tell them about that. But don't call Creme, don't call XTV and try to suggest that for some reason we afraid and something wrong with we. So make a very clear statement which media you're talking about, and don't pull us under the bus. Enough said on that. I started earlier to talk about the fact that I was a little bit under the weather, and thank God, you know, I am no longer there. But when it did catch me, I was in a very bad situation. It was raining, I got wet, and so my asthma, which I struggle with and have it under control, got out of control that evening. And so to make a long story short, because I had already said this, while I was in there, I kept wanting to do something besides just the fact that I'm being taken care of by these doctors and nurses. I wanted to do something for the hospital. And so I promised them that I would go and search and see if I can access 2 wheelchairs for that ward, not just for the Western Regional, but for that ward that took very good care of me. I want to say some of the persons that did that too. The nurses, Nurse Leonardo, Nurse Sandoval, Nurse Hope, Nurse Marcos, Nurse Westby, Nurse Henry, Dr. Ken, Dr. Martos, and the doctor that really paid a lot of attention to me, Dr. Rhonda Williams. I thank all of you personally. I did that when I was there. But I also promised that I would get this wheelchair. So I went for the wheelchair, and there you're seeing a picture of the wheelchair that we delivered to them this past Monday. Thanks to the Rotary Club of Belmopan, and thanks to my friend Cisco Woods. When I was trying to figure out where can I get this wheelchair, I remember that Cisco had access to wheelchairs. So I called him, texted him, and he said, boy, you're lucky because Rotary of Belmopan will be getting some wheelchairs, and I will try and make sure that you could access a couple of them so you could fulfill your promise to that ward of the hospital, the general ward. And so that happened. It was the end of October. The wheelchairs came in, and I was able to deliver those wheelchairs to the Belmont Hospital. I wanted to take the opportunity to say it because our public hospitals don't get the recognition that they should. It is unfortunate. Many times people go there, they're given a bill, and they don't pay that bill, even though they get expert care. The same sometimes level of care that you get at the private hospital. In fact, many times it is the same doctor that is at the private hospital you are finding at the public hospital. And so I know they say they only did double dip. They are double dipping, but the point is that we tend to look down on our public hospitals and kind of disparage them like, oh, you know, I remember when they used to say KHMH that kill him, something like that, just to throw dirty water upon that service there. And I'm telling you that we have to stop that. I have experienced hospitals. I have not stayed in hospitals except for that one time there, but I've experienced hospital care in both private and public hospital. And it is wrong for us to take this approach that, oh, we don't want to go there because we are going to get the worst kind of care, etc., etc. It is not the personnel that is the problem. Many times it's the government accessing the necessary equipment, the necessary medication, and those things, which means the fault goes back to government and its procurement process, and not the personnel of the nurses and the doctors that are giving the service that they give. So I wanted once again, because we delivered the wheelchairs, and I thank Cisco Woods for his intervention. I thank Brother Kevin at the Belmopan Rotary. In fact, I thank Rotary because we would not have been able to afford these very expensive wheelchairs if we had to come out of our own pocket. But we were able to access this and be able to deliver the wheelchairs to them this past Monday. Welcome, caller. Yeah, welcome, caller.
Good morning, Nuri. This is Sandra Corey.
Yes, good morning, sister.
And I just heard your statement about the delivery of health care. But Nuri, I am somebody I have dealt with the young for virtually all my life. And I trust the young. Because I find that the children, while they can have wild imaginations, I call them the little people. They see things many times like dogs that humans, adults, are too busy or too distracted to recognize. But because we live in a world where children have reduced value, we don't pay attention to them. Well, here is the same thing. The relationship between adults and children is very similar to the relationship between authorities and the common folk, the common people. The common people are not always, very often treated as though they have no intelligence, no value, no worth. And so the opinions and evaluations of the common folk are discarded and set apart.
Yeah,
yes, the publicly owned medical facilities deliver good, excellent service, but not always, Nuri.
Yes, of course.
You will receive it because you are a known figure. But not everybody will receive that, and even known figures will not receive it. I can personally tell you that many years ago, way my body feels, I was able to be on night because I was well. I should not have been put out of the hospital. I didn't know. I didn't put up any fight because I was, when they came out, I said, okay, so the person who was helping me, I said, okay, we'll just leave. But I didn't know why. I am glad that they did it. Because upon reaching my home and bringing in a private doctor, when he saw the 5 medications I was supposed to go out and buy, he told me don't buy any of them. I asked why. He said you don't have any of the problems those medications are for. So it happens, Nuri. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know what you're referring to, but I can tell you that I'll give you another example.
Okay.
Many years ago, maybe about over 20 years ago, one night a student who was a medical doctor, he arrived looking distraught and he got even more distraught when he received a phone call. So I said to him, is there a problem that I can help with? And he said, no, Sandy, but I have a problem. He was a foreigner. He said, my wife and I are having a big fuss because, as you know, on the health law and internationally at that, relatives are not supposed to treat patients. Relatives who are medical doctors should not treat their own relatives. But he said, I'm trying to tell my wife that too many women from our community are ending up almost dead because of experiences at the public hospital, not because of all the staff at the public hospital. There was a certain medical person who was also in private practice. These women were his patients in private practice. And as a consequence, when he sought to carry out induced labor on women who didn't need induced labor by arranging to be able to do that at the public hospital during holiday periods, he would arrange to be in charge of a particular section of that hospital, or a whole, I'm not sure which one it was, but that's what he did, in order to be able to use the facilities to carry out this process. And by virtue of that, placed many women in that community in severe danger of death, to the point where hemorrhaging and all took place. As a consequence, a certain diplomatic office instructed all the females in their office, connected to their office either by marriage or actually working, not to have, if they were pregnant, not to have their babies anything to do with the assessment, delivery of the baby, etc. in this country, and instructed them to go to another country. This happens, Nuri.
Yeah.
So, why am I saying this? Because, so that's one incident. If the common folk were to come forward and say, and it sounded like it might put one party, the ruling party, in jeopardy and look bad, we are going to end up with a situation where maybe one media may report it, but that's a may. We don't know that will happen, Nuri. We don't know that. Let us take the cost of living. On transportation cost is oranges. And you heard, you might have spoken with you and I've spoken with you. Oranges give you vitamin C. Now, other things give you vitamin C, but that is one of the basic foods in the leaves that used to cost very little, that you can get your vitamin C from to aid your immune system ward off illness through the formation of the white blood cells, along with other materials, for example, zinc. But vitamin C is essential, not only for immune system, other things vitamin C are needed for, skin health and so. Well, oranges went from 8 for $1, no, from 12 for $1, then 10 for $1, then 8 for $1, and with the pandemic, 3 and 2 for $1 on one occasion, and made it an average of 4 for $1. That's 100% increase in one orange, the cost of one orange. So then, how many families are going to be able to buy all the oranges their children? Because believe people, my friend Roddy used to have a cart right at the end of the bridge on what's the name, Albert Street there, in front of the drugstore. And Rod and I have known one another for years. So I always stop and chat with him. And sometimes I even hold over when he has to go and do business. So I end up selling oranges. And I can tell you, these people eat a lot of oranges in those days. Plenty. I don't know if they're eating that many now. Why? Because people are catching colds that are not getting better. So I keep wondering why the cost of living is so high, but the fruits in the market are very costly. But then I came to realize something, that when you buy some stuff at the Michael market, it's more expensive than the stuff at the Town Yard market. Why? Then I found out something that would need to be researched, but the media never has the money to do research, and some ways that won't be researched. I found out that the rental rates at Michael Finnegan are lower than the rental rates at the foot of the bridge. Here. Baking fruits and vegetables that come in wholesale more expensive than here is wholesale. So the thing should even be cheaper when they go retail.
Exactly.
No, they are higher than the Michael market. So, and then another question, when I found that out, I spoke about it with a friend. And she said, Sandra, I've been wondering the same, and I've come to realize exactly what you are saying. And this is simply my inductive reasoning, that because Belizeans may appear to be willing to pay the higher cost at the foot of the bridge, then is it possible that Michael Finnegan, which is selling their things lower, put on a little more sense, a little bit of cost, because it seems that Belizeans are willing to pay more. But they don't go as high because they have a lower rent. So, but are we going to investigate that, Nuri? Because remember, that Tongyard is surrounded by political disorder, right or wrong?
Yeah, it's just confused. Yeah,
the People's United Party mayor arranges to sell it to somebody for maybe half the value, or I don't know exactly what was the proportion of the selling price to the value price. Then doesn't get the man to pay the whole price, takes a little portion, like about maybe 1/10 of that or less, gives the man the property papers. Then the other party comes in and you know the whole thing has moved out of the public hands. good old privatization that puts we, the people, at the end of the day in danger. Those things Nuri need presentation to the public folk. The common folk know these things are happening, but they don't hear, they don't, it's maybe talked about for a week and set away and never again heard, and the common folk have their lives very full of many problems, and they go about their lives not realizing why the things are happening. So I don't vote. That's not that is because that is a correct action. No. It is because all that is presented to me to vote are two parties with a third party in the shadows that acts as a coalition partner of people who always seem, in my evaluation, to be concerned with is the building of private power, influence, and power. Nothing to do with the common people's lives and their improvement.
Yes.
And we see it, Nuri. We know it's there. Our people don't know how to fight it, and they are kept down. And so I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's absolutely fair that when people come forward with criticisms, you are advising them, well, don't have your criticism because this, let us stop saying, trying to throw Carlution or the market or, give you another example of an expense I have found out about.
Yeah.
That has me positively alarmed. In this country, we have two laws. The law that's parliamentary, passed in the National Assembly, and case law. Precedent. So if you go to court and that case, such a case has never come before the court, or it came and then you get an alternative ruling judgment, when you go and you get that. So when I go, I say, my lawyer tells me, okay, we can fight this case and win this case because Nuri Mohammed just won a case like that a year ago. My lawyer now, to understand your case, the arguments that were used and all of that, would need a copy of your case, right or wrong?
Right.
Because there is no law written. You can't go to believe.org and sign that law. So it wasn't based on parliamentary law. So now, we have been based in parliamentary law, but a whole new angle has been put in and a ruling is given in favor of your case by this new angle. To get a copy of that case, which is like accessing a law, Nuri, to get a copy of that will cost you $7 per page as a charge of the government. Now, that case is stored on a shelf in a library, yes, and storage costs. Libraries cost. I once ran a personal library of over 20,000 volumes, so I know it costs. Cleaning, maintenance, all of that. You have to keep out the little words that eat books, that's costly. But I take exception to a one page. Now the case file may contain 100 pages. If it contains that, so it's $700 Nuri.
Yeah, which is crazy. And you know, it doesn't have to be that way. As a matter of fact, I was talking to an attorney last week who was bemoaning the fact that judges, magistrates are still writing in longhand, believe it or not. They're still listening to the case and recording the case longhand. Even though there are recordings going on, they are still in that practice. You know, I'm sure you know, that you can go into a case that had its precedents written out in a say for example, New York City, John Brown's case on such and such a date. You can access that because it's public record. You can bring that up and you can start. Why is it that it's so difficult with that technology for us to be able to do the same thing in Belize?
And what does that do? That makes justice impossible for the common folk.
Very difficult. Of course, because it's expensive.
And because it makes justice impossible, it means that justice is still required in any society. So the common folk will then turn to other means to get justice.
Yeah, and that is happening more frequently.
So justice can't be exclusive at the level of the government. Yes, the government has cost. I just said that. But it can't be a cost that has on that is prohibiting, how in heaven's name, to get 100 pages of a case law, a case file, which constitutes case law. You are going, you now, who need that case to prove your point, are going to have to spend $7 a sheet of a copied sheet. Man,
something wrong.
You're charging $7 as revenue then?
Yeah.
What's that for?
Yeah.
So these are the things, and I'm Nuri. I haven't heard any legal person speak up about that.
Yeah, I don't know why. And this attorney, as he was talking to me, I said, how come the bar has not picked that up as an issue to ensure that this takes place?
Because entities like that are super conservative and don't want to ruffle the waters, somebody has to ruffle the waters.
Indeed.
And only the media can properly do that. But the media can't properly do that if the media is compromised. You can't do that. In every class, and I have taught the sociology of the media from 1972. My students always understand. That's one of the areas that I make sure they understand, the area of compromised media. You see? So we have a problem, Nuri. We are a small society, highly connected. I am quoting somebody, I'm quoting somebody. Highly compromised by affinity, sanguinity, by blood, and by relationships of friendship and otherwise affinity. We are a small society with not all the resources of a big society in a big country, because demographic density is low in Belize, right? So we have barriers, but we can't make those barriers be because of a deformed society. And we do have that, Nuri. So I don't think that anybody in the media should urge a population, let's not do this, let's not do that, because it appears negative. Examine it carefully to know if it only appears negative. But is it negative? No, it's not negative.
Yeah, I would say in terms of the responsibility of the media, and I'm very critical of our media here, but to...
You are?
I am. Yes, I am. Yes, ma'am, I am. Yeah, I will. I believe...
I agree with you. Go ahead.
Well, no, that is your opinion, and you're free to have that. I know that I have written, in fact, on the media, but I think when you analyze the media in Belize, there are certain constraints that we have. You've pointed out a couple of them. We're connected to family, we're connected to the government, we're connected to this business that we don't want to offend, etc., etc. I am talking this morning with the first caller in terms of courage.
Which I don't know who was the first
You
caller.
may not have heard it. Yeah.
I heard you now
On the matter of the hospital, yeah. Well, the first caller was criticizing the media, which was a generic kind of criticism that unu. And my point to the caller and to those listening and hearing and viewing is that, in fact, this media house cannot be criticized for not having the courage to go after the stories that many others will not want to break. But there are some very serious constraints that I have found with media in Belize. One is many of those who are representing the media don't do their homework. So for example, when you are interviewing someone, you may be short on answering the questions or doing the follow-up question because you're not broad in your understanding of the subject that you are dealing with. You're narrow. You may have only gotten information from other media houses instead of going and doing your own research. That's one. Secondly, there is such a thing in the United States, for example, and I use that jurisdiction a lot because I'm experienced with that. There is what they call investigative journalism, which unfolds a lot of the information that is hidden by the corporate media. That investigative media requires individuals who are trained and who know how to beam in on specific area, not doing any other work in that media house except stay on that case if it's a week, if it's a month, because what you are going to come up with is what the other medias are not coming up with. We don't have that in Belize, Sister Sandra. We do not have investigative media person. I know some of the investigative media.
We don't have it.
For example, I think that Jules Vasquez is one of our best investigative media.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah,
I said that we don't have it indeed, and we don't have it. We have it very limited, and the cry always is lack of resources.
Well, it is a major issue because many of these media houses cannot survive without ads. They don't have a bank load. I'm speaking from back here. There's no large bank load to do everything you want to do. You depend significantly on the ads that you get in. And the ads come in based on how broad is your broadcast, how far out you can go, because the advertisers are trying to sell their product. So they go to the media house that is able to get to the broadest audience, and that's a factor. And so you find, again, that the ads pie, if you could use that, is a very narrow pie, with some media houses getting as much as 70-80% of that pie, which leaves only a very small percentage for the other media houses, and all of that affects the resources. So it cannot be generic. You need to do something more forensic when you're going to criticize the media. You have to do some get some understanding of really what goes on in these media houses. I start again, qualification, just allow me to finish. Qualifications for being a journalist. That is not something that you jump out of high school or sixth form and go work with a media house and learn as you go along, which is our pattern here in Belize. Many people who are in the media in these other jurisdictions go to school 3, 4, 5 years. They go with a major media house to qualify them. We don't have that kind of luxury here. Again, as I said, that the access to the resources depends a lot on where the money is coming from. If you are a favorite of the government, you can be sure that the government is going to send all of their ministry advertisements to that media house.
But that's just the problem.
And that affects the media.
The receipt of money from a government becomes a problem. Let's move away from Belize. The American media is flawed in its presentation of the situation in the Palestine.
Absolutely.
Except one area. Every time they open their mouth, Israel is seeking to flush out Hamas and flush out Hezbollah because they are terrorists. Wait. Never change the story. Don't change it at all. So we can see, and as a consequence, in my book, the media, the American general, not all of them, but the is an integral part of the complicity
Absolutely.
in the genocide that's being carried out
Absolutely.
in the Palestine,
No question.
Gaza, the West Bank,
No question. No question.
Jerusalem, and Lebanon,
No question.
and advancing into Iraq.
Absolutely. If you
Iran did not respond. Iran did not attack Israel as a casual, capricious act. It acted, its very first attack on Israel was in response to an attack by Israel. From the very beginning.
Indeed.
But every time they presented it for the international world to consume, you are told that they responded to an attack by Iraq, never mentioning the attack by Israel that preceded that first attack by Iraq.
Indeed. But the
So
only
we can see the danger watching that of a media that is totally compromised and the havoc it is causing in that region.
Well,
so this is why I'm arguing you. It's not, you can, yes, but we who sit in our homes observe a media that may be lacking in resources, but they wouldn't stay in the media if they were not surviving from it.
Yeah, well, no,
So
I would. Well,
but then why run a business that has a greater commitment if all you're doing is surviving? You're surviving, but we are not. So that is also a question that would have to be
well,
examined.
let me respond. Let me respond this way. I would say that the media in Belize is a new media in the sense that allow me to speak so that we don't argue. I'm saying
but you made a point, so you want me to wake you out, and then I will have to remember everything you said. I'm writing it down.
I am waiting you out so that we can song and listeners and viewers can hear us both. But if we're doing it together, it's very difficult.
I don't need a schooling, so let's go on. I will continue talking, hon, but you don't need to take me apart and give me a schooling. I object to that. I am generally and always an extremely polite person, forceful, very forceful, but polite. People don't normally ever accuse me of being rude and disreputable and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead.
I don't think we're being disruptive to each other. And I'm being told that I have breaks to take. But I wanted to simply make the point that I accept the criticism about our media in Belize not being as expansive as it is, and that we have much to do in order to bring up the scale of the quality of our media, and I'm speaking generally. I was responding to a kind of an aspersion that the first caller made that included Krem, and I tried to make it clear that we are not one of those medias that try to avoid stories, but there are circumstances that create a difficulty in being able to be thorough and investigative. And now, lastly, the American media, that's why the people turning off the American media, because it has the corporate media in America, and I make it very specific, the corporate media, meaning the CNBC, the CNNs, the Fox News, etc., they are called the corporate media because they pretty much get all of their money from the American vested interests. But there is democracy now. There is now the social media that comes across with all of the information on Gaza that we would have never gotten if we're just listening to ABC and CNN, who pretty much propagandize the people on the same information that the government puts out. So you would never look at the Gaza, at the atrocities in the Gaza as something bad if you were just looking at corporate media. It took those other outside of the box that would be giving us the information as valuable. And I close, sister, by saying, we agree that the media in Belize still has a lot to be desired, especially those who know about media. I've been in the media for about 50 years. I know where we fall short. But I just, anyway, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're going to break.
Thank you.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but no human is perfect, and Creme is not perfect.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
Creme equally may not have all the criticism, may not merit all the criticism, may not merit all the criticism launched at other media houses, but they do, because at varying times, this very media house has made me feel very, not unwelcome, but have to be dealt with. Yes, it has done that. And I'm independent. I'm not being paid to make my calls, but I have helped the media to grow in this country. When I started to call the media in 2001, September, when BTL was going to raise their rates, that's what caused me to begin to call the media and stop going out to give lectures and stuff. So I've watched it grow, and I know I've made a contribution, but that's a contribution that was not paid for.
Okay.
No media house in this country would be willing to pay me.
Yeah.
Note the word I use, willing.
Yeah.
Because I can't be managed and I can't be controlled. And that's a fact, Nuri, isn't it?
Sure, it is a fact. And it's important that we recognize that the Creme and XTV are new expressions of a media house that started with a mandala, and that was one of the most outstanding reads that we could take in Belize when compared to the other newspapers. So, thank you very much for your calling. All the best, my sister. All right, we're overdue for our break, so we'll go to the break and make sure that we catch up before the show is over.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Key. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all, that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer. They all depend on the health and vitality of our marine environment.
I may be out on the water every day, but I know that my livelihood is tied to the health of the reef. We all depend on it.
As a tour guide, I get to share the beauty of a reef with visitors from around the world. But I want future generations of Belizeans to experience it too.
Fresh seafood is the heart of Belizean cuisine. I want to continue creating delicious dishes that celebrate our local flavors, sustainably sourced from our waters.
In Belize, we may come from different backgrounds, but we all share the same dream. A thriving marine environment capable of sustaining us all. Together, let's work toward that future. A future where we all thrive.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
confidence. Design Depot brings you an attractive selection of GE appliances, including microwaves, washers, dryers, refrigerators, dishwashers, countertop appliances, and more. We understand the importance of appliances that not only endure, but also excel in performance. As your trusted GE USA authorized dealer, we stand for reliability and performance, ensuring that you can power on with confidence. Visit us today and power on with efficient, reliable, and energy-saving solutions with GE appliances from Design Depot.
Design Depot, all in one place.
right, welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. Numbers here, 280-5848, 280-5848. You're welcome to call and to be involved in our conversation this morning. Here's our next caller. Welcome, caller.
Yes, good morning, Brother Nuri.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Just a small comment on, I guess it could have been the first caller, David Amandaris. I hope I'm not getting in trouble for calling name. But I miss David as a co-host on your show.
So do I.
And the value of Dave is that he's a superlatively intelligent man. He's also gifted with being very, very articulate. But the attraction of Dave on that show for me was that he has the gift of going for the jugular. He has the gift of going directly to the heart of the matter. And we live in a time and an age where there's almost a caution to watch your word because everybody is now litigation conscious. And I believe that we have to find a balance between the right to speak to the issues that we choose to speak to and the issue of exposing a media house to perhaps the possible litigation. Dave, in his narrative this morning, and I haven't heard it for quite a while, is basically, in my view, saying that the writ that I got from a public official injures my business. It erodes my bread and butter. And I will spare no words to say how I feel. And he did effectively say that the substance of what, the letter that he got was that he seemed to be directed, or his people in that end of the tourism business were directed to go to a private individual to me. What was missing is I don't think he said why. I am of the view, but perhaps he would call in at some point in time to say why he was directed to go to this private entity to access the cave. That is what I got from it, and it would have been interesting for me to understand why, because generally I believe that it is the government, it is its dish, from what I can surmise, that would have the authority and the right to effectively charge and perhaps manage these destinations. But I didn't get that from Dave. Long story short, Brother Nuri, you're also a very articulate man, but I think that you were perhaps a little heavy-handed. This is my judgment in terms of kind of sounding off on Dave. I think that Dave, in my view, and many of us, when we speak to these issues, he's speaking to these individuals as public servants. We don't call them that, but they're actually servants of the public, these ministers. And I think that he was speaking not in terms of personal ad hominem attacks, but he was speaking to these two ministers in relation to their discharging their public function. And I don't think that this should be discouraged. I'm hoping that Dave calls in more frequently so that we can understand from a visceral standpoint what it is that the bread and butter people, the salt of the earth, the ordinary working class man and woman is feeling in this nation, because many times we do not know. So I'm not, that is my view, Brother Nuri, and I know that, we go way back, and I know that you wouldn't be saying anything to injure anybody, but I just thought that maybe we were a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, well, can I just mention to you, I don't know if you heard the entire call,
No, I kind of stepped away, Brother Nuri, at the end of it, because I think you did mention something about health.
Right.
You know, I missed that part of it.
I did not respond in any way to him talking about the niche sending out a letter saying to entrepreneurs like himself that in order to access these caves, you have to go through my competition, which is Dark Knight and Chaka, etc., etc. I totally gave him all the freedom to say what he had to say and did not disturb him at all. It was when he started to bring up the personal health of one of the leaders of the UDP, if I could use that term, and got into what could be considered disparaging remarks in regards to Mrs. Pantan, that I braced him and said, well, brother, you know, we can't go down that road. And let him go further, and then he came back again saying it one more time, and I said, we can't go down that road, David. That was where I came in to caution him. I love when David is here, man. David and I don't got no problem together, off mic and on mic. We don't got no problem, but I would be irresponsible if I sat here and said nothing and just, because when you don't say anything, it's almost as if, yeah, that's fair comment. And I didn't think that that, in my opinion, was a fair comment. And that is when I responded. But I did not say anything about the issue of him being told by Mitch, and not only him, by other tour operators, that in order for you to access the caves, you have to go through your competition and pay your competition funds in order for you to service your customers. I think that that is wrong, and I did not disturb or interrupt when David was making that point. It was when he left that and started to deal, because he threw out the government. I mean, he threw out Mala and Francis. I did not disrupt him at all in that. It was when he started to talk about the opposition. I didn't disrupt that either. But it was when it got, in my opinion, and I am here, I have to make the judgment. In my opinion, I felt that when he got into the personal health issue of Mrs. Pantan, that was not fair comment.
Yeah, well, but Nuri, I have to apologize because I kind of stepped away, perhaps at a crucial moment, because when I heard you, you know, it was kind of moving from my house to the car.
Yes, sir.
And that is when he probably, you know, he got into that aspect of his communication. Because when I heard you, I thought that your narrative was in relation to him speaking about tourism.
No, it was about that, and then in the last he threw at least something out of we here at Krem likewise, or me, that, you know, we the media, etc., etc. So I waited until after the break, and then after the break is when I made my comment. So, and I would hope that that does not mean that me and David did not talk to one another. I mean, my skin not so thin like that, and I don't believe his is either.
Right. Well, I would be a little disappointed if he gets personal like that, one. But two, you know, people see Krem Media as obviously an extension of UBAD, and we do know that UBAD is a kind of independent organization that grassroots people can tune into to hear your grievances. That is what Krem is, and so I just thought that you know, that is still the culture of Krem.
It is the culture.
And you did give Dave the opportunity to say what he said.
Yes, sir.
So have a good one, Brother Nuri, and
same to you, Brother George.
Good work.
All right, you too. Take good care.
Yes,
let's take our next break because we're behind with our breaks.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Key. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all, that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer, they all depend on the health and vitality of our marine environment.
I may be out on the water every day, but I know that my livelihood is tied to the health of the reef. We all depend on it.
As a tour guide, I get to share the beauty of a reef with visitors from around the world. But I want future generations of Belizeans to experience it too.
Fresh seafood is the heart of Belizean cuisine. I want to continue creating delicious dishes that celebrate our local flavors, sustainably sourced from our waters.
In Belize, we may come from different backgrounds, but we all share the same dream, a thriving marine environment capable of sustaining us all. Together, let's work toward that future. A future where we all thrive.
This holiday season, Santa's elves are making a special delivery to Atlantic Bank, making sure all customers have something extra spectacular to celebrate this Christmas. Apply for a personal loan today and get a chance to win one of 25 prizes. For more information, visit our website at www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, making your holiday season magical.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale, professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Welcome back. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Exciting morning with our telephone calls and the texts that we have been receiving. We have our telephone line still open at 280-5848, and you're welcome to call and to weigh in on our conversations this morning. And, you know, we are not in a defensive mode. I mean, that we don't have any reason to be defending ourselves here on XTV or Creme Radio, and in fact, even Cremandala as a compound. There's no need for us to try to, you know, defend ourselves. But explanation is very important, because with these media, you might hear something, but it's not clear. Somebody texted me all the way from Baltimore, said, I wasn't sure that this is what I heard. Could you explain to me exactly what I heard? So people are not sitting, viewing, or listening on the radio or listening on some app, but they're busy. This is morning, so people are busy doing things, so it's not their full attention, it's sometimes part their attention, and they hear something that might not sound correct. And you can't lead off on something that is not. If it doesn't sound correct, then find a way to get it corrected so that you don't come to the wrong conclusion. So we did get some texts of people asking to clarify what they thought they heard. And then with the responses that we've made, it confused them a little bit more, because they didn't hear really why I was saying what I was saying. But that is all good, because it's dynamic. It doesn't happen any other media house in Belize that has a conversation with the public, to even with disagreements. It makes the show dynamic. It makes it real. It makes it live. And that is what they seem to be moving to in the American media scene, that everything now is a live, interactive reality, and you see it a lot on social media. So we're up on where we should be, and we make no apologies. There's no need to apologize, and I'm the first to apologize when I'm pointed out as being wrong. Once I see evidence that I'm not correct, I don't jump from defending my wrong decision or my wrong perception. I try to correct it right away. Mea culpa. There's nothing wrong with that, because I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes. I have made mistakes, and I will make mistakes. So me not got no problem with admitting when I am at fault. But it seems as though to admit that you have a fault or that you've made a mistake is like, lad, man, lay down by your sword because you're done. No. There's another day. There's more to come. And so it is important to not, it's like when politicians make a mistake and they begin a series of cover-up. And they cover up and they cover up and they cover up until finally it busts. When it busts, all of those cover-ups become exposed, and the character and the integrity of that person then is compromised. I don't want to be in a position like that. So if you see my fault, you want to discuss my fault, or you see something that I have made as a mistake, as I had the conversation with Sister Sandra earlier, I don't got no problem with those kinds of conversations. We'll take our next break because we're behind having those conversations without a break. So we'll take our last break now.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
All right, welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, an exciting Thursday morning edition of WUB. We still have a few minutes. Our phone number, one was calling during the break, and you can call back now. It's 280-5848, and feel free to call and to express yourself. Another one of the things that I wanted to bring up this morning was how the government intends to disperse this $125 million that it has received from the MCC. This is an American conglomerate that gives money to developing countries like ourselves to assist in areas of expanding services to their people. It is my understanding that, of course, when this was given, there was all kind of accusations made, oh, we are siphoning off the money, and then the Americans had to come and say, no, we are set up our own place here to make sure that that money is being allocated in the way that it should. Welcome, caller.
Yes, brother. Next morning.
Yeah, morning, sir.
Somewhat about to mention what stands on the conversation we had this morning, but mainly the justice to the talk about now. I just want to call it and remind everybody, and this journalist that we have to pay very close attention to the case of Elmer Knapp.
Of what, sir?
We know he has got now top liar.
Yeah.
And there's no coincidence that they got him to represent it now. So
I didn't hear the name of the person you're talking about, sir.
I'm thinking about the case for Mr. Elmer Knapp.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, good.
Yeah, so I'm saying that we have to pay very keen attention and some very good investigative reporting should be happening right now concerning that case. I mean, this is a serious thing. I don't know if anybody realized, but I would like to recount that we've lost Mr. Orlando Castellano from our community. We have video surveillance showing the perpetrator. We have Mr. Michael Williams, who was also killed. 2 witnesses were shot in that incident too and almost died. We have Mr. Ahmad Farid, who was also killed. And like we don't hear anything about that anymore. We have the case with Vivian Ramnaris, John, and Mikey ongoing. But we also have the young man from Ladyville that his mother had come publicly and stated that Mr. Na was involved. And like we just let go out of anything here, man, you know. We have the incident with the guys them on George Street. I lost a classmate who died in that incident, the 4 guys that were murdered.
Yes, sir.
We have all the incidents here, so some serious investigative reports do need to happen, and we have to equip or the journalists with the necessary information, because trust me, there's people out here who know a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
And they could contribute greatly to closing these cases, but we have to make certain steps to ensure that these people are, one, that they're safe, and whatever they say is, because I won't take long because...
No, you're right. You're making an extremely important point, sir.
And I'd just like to say something, right, at the end of if, right, they're saying that it's not the case that it is, I think a very important person that we need to hear from is the arresting officer, because how is it that minutes after this murder was committed, the officer was able to go to Mr. Na house and arrest him, still finding him with the headlight on and all that. And yet, with all that, nobody is saying what happened to that arresting officer and the members of that unit that went to arrest him, because, I mean, just common sense will tell you, nobody had that much luck to have a murder, a triple murder happen, and within minutes you could go and have someone. So we know there's information that that arresting officer had gotten prior to the murder. So we know that we have police officers to disclose statements given by people. So there's a lot of work we need to do, but we as the Belmopan people, we need closure to this too, because we know we had a serial killer in our community, and since he's been locked up, everything back to normal. You understand? So that's my little 1 cent. My brother.
Yes, sir.
Listen up here.
All right, sir. Yeah, very, very important comment, Carla. Indeed, what you're saying is that a case like that should have almost a special reporter, if you want to call it, an investigative journalist that would stay on that case and be able to frame that case so that people have as much information as possible on that case going into the actual trial. There are a couple of things that is happening before, and that is that he has gotten an extremely high-profile attorney who came to the public recently and said some statements that would lead the listener or the viewer to believe that maybe the video footage that we were looking at, it is blurred, but that there needs to be some forensic videographer from abroad, of course, always, to come in and to testify as to the authenticity of that particular video and whether that video is identifying Mr. Na. That is not the case. That is not, in fact, the completion of the case. it's only the attorney responding once in the defense of his client. The case has not gone to trial. We have been told by the Commissioner of Police that they have a good case. He's mentioned that several times during the aftermath of that atrocious murders. We also are told that the DPP herself, which is a highly qualified attorney, will be the one prosecuting that case. So we don't know exactly what will be the outcome of that case yet. I agree with you, sir, that there are other questions. For example, the murder of Farid Ahmed. That is a puzzle and is in fact something that is very blurry and still not clear to the public outside of the fact that this man was murdered in a very mysterious way, that a woman was brought to trial because she was in the vehicle with him. She has since been freed, and while being investigated, and in fact in court, she mentions Mr. Na's name, and that really, his uncle, Mr. Vidal, testified that he was with him during that time, and so therefore could not have been the person at the scene, as Miss Michelle, I believe was her name, Michelle Brown, alleges. So it is a complicated case, and in fact would require an investigative journalist, or just a very good journalist, because that adjective is not necessary. A journalist, a good journalist is a good journalist. Don't have to be an investigative journalist. Does need to stay on that case and ensure that it does not lose focus. I remember another high-profile case where people were saying, well, we don't know if all of these complicated way in which this case is being presented, if the Danny Mason and his associates would have been found guilty. But again, the DPP was the prosecuting attorney, and she was able to convince and therefore bring in a guilty plea, and it was so structured that even the appeals of Mr. Mason have not been successful in that case. So we can only hope that the way in which this case is presented, that the person who is guilty, in fact, will be found guilty. And, I'm glad you're saying that, the people of Belmopan, because Belmopan, I assume, is a very small network of families that has grown large over the last 10, 15 years, but it started as a very close-knit community of mostly civil servants and etc., public officers as they're called today, and their families, and expanding the way it has expanded. It's not like that now. I mean, Belmopan is a whole different situation than the way it started off 50 years ago. But the reality is that that murder has shocked the people of Belmopan. The people I talked to, they're still remembering it as though it happened just yesterday. So it is good that you and another gentleman that calls here quite often keeps that on the radar, because we are so filled with distractions, and so many things are happening in our personal lives and in our collective life as a growing country, that a lot of these things slip us, and it's not until journalists bring it back in focus that we remember, this thing did take place. So your call is right in order, sir, because indeed, Mr. Godfrey Smith is an esteemed lawyer, but his attempt to free a gentleman who murdered his mother, sister, and father-in-law some months ago, he brought forward a sleepwalking theory which was not accepted. So him attempting again to serve his client by bringing in a forensic videographer to determine whether or not the video that we've all seen is in fact a rendition of his client, Mr. Na. It's within his right, but it does not mean that that is going to win the case at all. Enough on that. So we thank you for being with us this morning. It's been a very exciting show, as is usual. That is the DNA, if you will, of Bakia. And we hope that you will join us again tomorrow. It is a weekly conversation that takes place every weekday morning here on CREM Radio and XTV. Let's thank those individuals in the background, Mr. Joe, Larry Guerrero, in the simulcast downstairs at CREM Radio. And upstairs we had Mr. Harlan Wagner as our MCO this morning, as well as Mr. Cliff Lewis. Belizeans, stand strong and stand firm. Be careful you don't get distracted by the noise in the market. Always do the right thing. For now, we're gone!
This is CREM.
Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is just show my people. Belize our hope for to needless reason. Nobody feel about this divide we dealing. It's not a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes.